initial stage. I think we are ready once again. Once more. Let us have
I was obsessed with knights and armor and swords and castles and horses since I can remember. And it's a passionate interest that I've just followed however I could. My name's Toby Capwell. I'm curator of arms and armor at the Wallace Collection in London. As far as I know, I'm the only curator who also jousts and runs around in armor. When I came to the Armouries, I came here as a horseman. I'd done a BA. My senior thesis had to do with studying historical sword fighting techniques. But I wasn't an academic or a scholar by any stretch of the imagination. Since they needed people who could joust, and I was one of the few people back then who did do it, that led to me coming to the Armouries to train horses and to joust in the first year of the museum's opening in 1996. Once I was here, I found myself coming into the galleries more and more often, and just being surrounded by the real stuff, which I'd come into contact with before, but not like this. I found that tremendously inspiring. And within a few months of being here, I was thinking, this is what I want to do. I want to spend all my time with real objects. I want to study the real history. The riding horses and jousting and having a good time is all very well, but as a life's pursuit, understanding the real objects was what I really became very passionate about very quickly. Medieval and Renaissance people thought of armor just as much as works of art, sculptures in steel, as they were utilitarian equipment for the battlefield. This is a life-sized sculpture of a 15th century English knight. The armor depicted on it looked very strange to me. It didn't look like any of the armor stylistically that I had seen or could recognize. And I thought, well, what is this? Is there some other style of armor design that we don't know about? And I thought that would be a good subject for my PhD. Was there a particularly English style of armor design in the late Middle Ages? For me, the Royal Armouries Library is one of the most important places in the museum. Once I started to have an idea that I wanted to work on funerary monuments and the arms and armor that's displayed on them, I started looking at the Armouries files where they had information or photographs of effigies. And the stuff that I found was just tremendous. I look at that armor and I know what it's been through. I caved this pauldron in a joust once. I mean, this thing had a huge crater in it. And this plate here, this isn't the original lower plate. They found that it was too thin for jousting and it kept getting really badly dented. They replaced it with a heavier piece. But again, I'm probably one of only one or two people who knows that. There's all sorts of knowledge about these objects that's been lost because it's only up here. That's both very sort of tantalizing and, for a museum curator, tremendously frustrating because it reminds you that there's a lot about these objects that you're never ever going to know. It's a tremendous resource for anyone interested in the subject, or not just in arms and armor, but also anybody who's interested in medieval or Renaissance art. Anybody who's interested in military history of any period at all should know about the Royal Armouries. It is a pretty unique, encyclopedic sort of place. And as well as a museum, it's a kind of giant three-dimensional library encyclopedia of the subject. And, you know, you can't help but adore the place, really.